All right, guys, what's up? And welcome back again to another mastermind interview with one of my students that I have here. This is a student that actually did not only the mastermind, but he actually did a one-on-one mastermind, which is more in person. He's one of my 6 in-person students that I have taught throughout my educational career, and has been successful at it. So without further ado, welcome Albert.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. So it's an honor to be on your podcast.
Yeah. I saw what you've been making lately or what you've been doing lately. Honestly, like I said, I want to interview some of my top students. I consider you definitely one of my top students. Like, you've been very consistent, you know. Top, I don't mean like who's making like the most money, right? Because trading is all subjective to how much money you actually have. Because, for example, I can be a really, really good trader, but if my capital is only $10,000,
Agree with you.
then somebody might not deem me a top player in the game, versus I could be a really bad trader and have $1 million and hit one trade for 50 grand, and everybody's like, oh my God, this guy's an amazing trader. So by top, I mean, you've been a very consistent trader. You've been very involved. I see you still grinding, and now you are also funded as well. So, you know, just walk us through the process of like how you got here today.
Oof. Say shit?
Yeah, you can say shit.
All right, shit. So, yeah, I started trading. Well, I learned about trading, I guess, back in 2017. I feel like my story is a little different from everybody else, right? Typically, you'll hear people talk about burning accounts, right? They'll deposit money, they blow the account. Deposit money, they blow the account. Unfortunate for me, that wasn't my route, right? So back in 2017, 2018, I started trading, and I learned that if I had more money in my account, I could hold the drawdown until it eventually came back into profit, which honestly is, you know, it's not 100% the right way of trading, right? Because not trading with a stop loss opens you up to a lot of risk, but it was working. So from 2018, 2019, I was able to pull, you know, 20K payouts out of Ugo's way a week,
Nice.
right? Like, and I was going in with one lot positions on one specific pair, and I was just holding it until it came back down, and that's what I did. And dude, I would open up, this is not the right way of trading, but I would open up one lot on Euro AUD. If I got into drawdown with $1,000, I would open up another lot and then another lot, and eventually it would come all the way back down because the market goes up and down.
Dollar cost average
Right.
position, yeah.
And I would close out, and everything was great, but I never learned risk to reward, right? So I never been burnt. The good thing is I pulled my money out of the market, and I was able to pay myself, but also blow through the money, right? So at that point in time, I was younger, stupider, and I was just whatever. I made some extra. I thought it was an ATM. I thought it was printing money,
Right.
until COVID happened, and that shit just kept going up and never came back down, and I blew an account. That was the first time I ever blew an account, and that was an extreme shot to my ego, shot to everything. So what I didn't learn in the beginning of blowing accounts, I was like, I knew that trading was real, right? I knew that there was money to be made because I made it. I pulled out. I bought stupid shit with it.
Right.
And then but battling that psychology afterwards has been extremely hard until I ended up with the one-on-one with you.
Right.
And that's so fast forward to, I think we linked together, fast forward to 2022, right? That's where I reached out to you and sat there with the one-on-one with the mastermind and going over, you know, what I loved about our time together was that you were real with me, right? Where you just sat there and just told me, like, I was strategy hopping. I was doing everything, you know, all the mistakes everybody used to make. And the first thing you told me was like, there's no secret sauce, right? Like, bro, like, there's no secret sauce to this shit. You know, one mentor is not better than another. It's all about the time that you put into it, right? And it's all about psychology and risk to reward. And that's one thing that I feel like a lot of people don't focus on.
Right.
And that's what has helped me, you know, now, because when I did this with you, right, like I had to ask my my fiance at the time, now my wife, right, because I was about to get married.
Right.
So I was like, shit, this is like, you know, I want to do this, and she was very supportive. And then from there, we went on our honeymoon, we had a baby, and then it's been like a good year of just like pause on me trading, even though it's a passion of mine. I never like stopped,
Right.
but I wasn't able to apply what you taught me 100% until now.
Right.
So now that I did that, I've been able to have a funded account with FTMO.
Right.
Right. And I'm currently trading 3 other FTMO's accounts, and I believe that I should be max allocated by next year.
Nice.
Right?
So you'll have like, you're aiming for what, like $1 million allocation funding?
$1 million in capital, because I figured like right now I have a funded account. Right. My strategy is extremely simple. I'm risking 1% to make 2%. Right. My overall win rate is 62%. That's
nice.
That's my
That's really good.
Yeah. No, it's not bad. And then that's including news. Like if I just concentrate on my days without news, it's 70% win rate.
Wow, that's really good. That's really good. That's really, really high, actually. Like, one thing about trading is like everybody focuses on a high win rate, but like I taught you, remember we did the math on risk management. So like a professional trader only needs to win about 30% of the time, and people will never understand that. And the reason for that is because if you win 30% of the time, but you have a high risk to reward, those losses, like you can literally win, you can literally lose 7 trades, win only 3, but if you have a 1 to 4, 1 to 5 risk to reward on those trades, you're going to be profitable at the end of the day. You might not be profitable at 30%, 20% month, but even a 10% month makes a difference on your money, because everybody looks at money in a smaller scale. You got to look at money on a bigger scale. If somebody gives you $1 million and you're making 10% a month, you're making $100,000 a month. In a year is 120% of return a year. Nobody's doing that type of money. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's actually making 120% return a year returns. And for us, a 10% return a month is very reasonable.
That's possible, dude. Like,
completely possible.
Yeah. I look at my stats as far as, so I've been journaling, right?
Yeah.
Like you told me to start to journal everything. And I mean, like, I journal everything. Like I have an Excel spreadsheet where it has, if it was a red news day, if it was FOMC, like I can sit there and tell you that when Powell speaks, my trades go to shit, dude. For whatever reason, my setup doesn't work when Powell speaks. Right. I win 33% of the time. So like I've used like everything that you taught me as far as the important part of trading, like analyzing your actual trades, breaking down what you're doing, when you're doing it, the time frame that you're doing it, when you're going to trade. I have that all written down into a sheet where I can sit there and tell you, shoot, dude, like every month I've made over risking 1%, and it's 1 trade per day, right? Because you told me no more than 1 or 2 trades per day. I've cleared 10% easy. Like
every month.
Every month.
Yeah.
Every month.
That's the goal.
Right. Don't get me wrong. I'll have a week of drawdown.
Of course.
Like right now I'm in a week of drawdown, but I'll have a week of drawdown, but the following week I'll have 5 winners in a row.
Of course. I mean, the problem with people is, like, remember, like what I taught you, right? Everybody thinks that your main focus should be your strategy, okay? Everybody thinks that there's an aha moment, that there's some type of strategy out there that's going to make it easy for you, that you can go through mentor to mentor, that one mentor is not teaching you something that the other one isn't. It's not the strategy. It's literally building an ecosystem and building some type of, like, sustainable trading period, right? The way you build a sustainable trading consistency in trading is literally by you journaling your trades, finding out what you're doing wrong, finding out what you're doing right, doing more of what you're doing right, doing less of what you're doing wrong, right? So now you know, for example, by journaling, you lose 30, you only win 33% of the time when Paul speaks. So what do you do now? You avoid that. That increases your win rate because you're avoiding that. Another thing is, like, about trading is, like, people don't know how to lose, right? The first thing I taught you.
That's what I know, bro.
Right? The first thing I taught you was how to lose. I don't teach you how to win.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because winning is easy. Everybody knows how to be a winner. It's hard to know how to be a loser, right? The first thing I taught you was, like, you're going to lose. Yep. You're going to 100% lose. This is a game where you're going to lose. You go to the casino, I hit blackjack. I usually go $10,000 the same blackjack, right? I know I'm going to go up. I know I'm going to go down. I'm not going to go up. I always leave with money, but I know it's a up and down. You're going to have your losses. You're going to have your winners. As long as the outcome is income, you're good. But that's the problem with trading. Nobody knows how to lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know how to stop the trade, which is what you had, right? Remember when you said when you first started, you literally were holding trades till you blew an account, basically. You were just
exactly
holding.
Happened,
yeah. So that's the thing with trading, that you got to learn how to lose. You got to learn how to cut your losses short, doing the 1 to 2 trades a day. Also as well, that helps you walk away, which helps you lose less, because less is more. So the less time you're in the market and the more time you're winning, you don't have to, like, worry so much about, like, if I'm going to do 4 or 5 trades a day, how many of those I'm going to win, how many of those I'm going to lose, versus you do look at it on a daily basis, then you look at it on a weekly basis, then you look at it on a monthly basis. Yeah. So what do you feel like after you did that one-on-one, because we spent a lot of time together with the one-on-one, like versus everything that you've been taught before, or everything you learned before, like
as far as what I learned that's more beneficial than what I would, it's like you said, the main focus being on risk to reward and psychology is by far what helped me become who I am, opposed to what I learned before, because anybody could learn technicals, dude. And like, it's funny because I posted a markup and I tagged you in it, and then they're like, oh, is somebody wrote me like, oh, does Alex trade SMC or ICT? I was like, dude, it's all the same shit. Like, honestly, like I'll bro, like I like understanding your market structure and shit, but it's all the same shit.
It's all the same shit, yeah.
It's like, dude, like supply and demand, support and resistance, fair value gaps. Like, understand, like these are things that as a trader, as it progresses, like you start to see them regardless, and you know, everybody just calls them something different, right? So
yeah, the thing is that again, we go back to the same thing where everybody's trying to justify something,
right?
You know, that's what trading is. Everybody's trying to justify their strategy. This is what I call my strategy. So the way I look at it, like what I tell everybody, show me you make money. Don't show me what the fuck your strategy is. I don't care what your strategy is. I don't care what you call it. Show me you make money. If you make money, I'll listen. That's it. You know, because at the end of the day, what are we trading for? We're not trading for charity.
Income, bro.
Trading to make money. We're trading to make income. So if you're trading for income, your results should speak for themselves, right? And I'm not talking about cars. I'm not talking about houses. I'm not talking about none of that materialistic stuff. I'm talking about your results. Your track record should speak for itself. You know, one of my proudest things is that I've been probably like one of the only traders that has been able to do a copy trader like myself, like that I traded for myself. You were actually in, I think, for a couple months, for 4 months in a row, you know, without doing, without blowing an account. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then obviously we put an EA on it and that kind of fucked it up. But at the end of the day, you know, it's like, nobody has been able to do that. You know what I'm saying? That I know personally. And that shows your validation, you know, that you're a real trader, because now their accounts are copying the trades that you're doing.
Right.
So if you blow an account or if you mess up a trade, their account's going to reflect that, right? So transparency in the industry is what really should count, right? Track records, things like that. Cars shouldn't count. You know, people love cars.
Yeah.
People love, you know, houses, this, that, flaunting the money. And it's not like I don't have them. Obviously, I have the cars. So I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and say money's not everything. Before you say money's not everything, make sure you have money. Before you say cars is not everything, make sure you got the cars, because now people are going to listen to you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you're a guy that doesn't have any of that shit and you're saying money's not everything, cars are not everything, you know, it's like, this guy's he's just hating. Bro. But I'm telling you, because have it. I'm telling you, it's not everything. You know, I feel like transparency, that's what I try to instill in you.
And that's funny because that's how, like, my whole channel, like, I ended up opening up a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
right?
That's good.
And it was more for selfish reasons, right? To keep myself accountable. Because what I noticed was, if I don't put myself out there, bro, I'll end up sometimes over trading and fucking up. And this way, I sat there and opened up the channel, and I wanted to document this shit and be completely transparent that you can do it, I can do it, anybody can do it, as long as you have the right mentality, risk to reward, and trading plan set up.
Yep.
And transparency is 100% what you taught me and key in this industry, and we don't have it, dude. Like, there's like, before you asked me again about like previous, let's say, not mentors, because I don't consider anybody really a mentor, but previous teachers or whatever you want to call them. Like, I've been through, and you know this, I'm not going to mention any names, but I've been through a lot of people that you sit there and see their Instagram, like you said, flaunting all this shit. And when you sit there and do a, what is it called? Like a learn and earn or whatever bullshit, and you end up blowing your own money because they were blowing accounts. Like, they would only post the blue. Like, the very first thing that I noticed is that you were one of the very first people to sit there and post your losses, dude. Like, like, nobody was doing that shit.
But you gotta be proud of that. I feel like, honestly, like, how can you sit there and tell people that you're making $20,000 days, $50,000 days, but that you're not losing? Like, how can you sit there with a straight face and do that? You don't understand something. If you're that powerful, first of all, you would be in Wall Street somewhere, because you would be like an alien, right? Like the guy that never loses.
Yep.
Wall Street would just literally call you up and be like, hey, what's up? I'm gonna give you $1 gazillion for you to trade with us, because you're that good. You never lose, right? So there's always losses, like, and the reason why I always post losses, and people are always like, "Oh man, like I really," and it's so crazy, right? How in the industry that's so like praised,
Right.
that shows you how fake some of the industry is,
100%.
because it literally shows you like you post your losses, and people are like, "Wow, man, like you're so transparent." And I'm like, "Why the fuck wouldn't I post my losses?" Like that shows you that I also lose, that I'm also human, and that's how trading is. That's what I want to educate people on. I don't want to educate people on like, oh, I always win, I always win, I always win. I want to educate people on like there's losses, there's wins, there's bad days, there's bad weeks. You know, like people get a strategy, and then they literally go 1 week with a strategy and it does bad, and that's it. They switch their strategy completely. And I'm sure you're one of those people.
Yeah, I was one of those guys, dude.
Yeah.
I would sit there and like, no, next.
Yeah, it happens. So like 1 week, you're like, oh, that's it. This strategy is shit. It's doing bad. You don't understand. Like you got to give a strategy at least a month, right? Like a month worth of strategy at least, because in a whole month you're gonna have 22 trading days, right? If you only trade Monday to Friday,
Right.
that means that you have 22 days to either be profitable or not profitable. It takes 21 days to build a habit. It takes 21 days to build a strategy.
Yep.
So then you have 22 days out of the month. Then now you see, okay, in a month I lost 33%. I've won 66%, 67% of my trades. This is a profitable strategy. Anything over a 50%, it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Anything over 50% is amazing. Because think about it. If you won 2 weeks, lost 2 weeks, but those profitable 2 weeks that you spend, your risk to reward was more than 1 to 2, or
Right.
1 to 2, or 1 to 3, you're going to be profitable.
Of course. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what people don't understand in the industry. And that's why, like, when I have students like you, for example, like you came already with some experience, you know, a lot of the things that I try to like teach people, it's not so much trading. It's more like psychology, mindset, and just simple math. It's crazy, right? It's just simple math.
It's exactly what it is.
Because risk management, that's what it is, simple math.
Dude, I'm not like, I think one of the issues with traders, as far as what I'm trying to say is, as if you're gonna start trading, one thing is do it by yourself, right? Like don't trade with other people. So unfortunately, I have people around me that also trade, right? Like at work and stuff like this, and I've tried to convey that to people. Where like, hey, like what's your risk to reward? Like what like there's one guy that's negative, dude. He goes he's a scalper. I'm like, and he goes through all the stuff that we're talking about. He'll win whatever 90% of the time, but then he'll start to lose, and he doesn't know when to stop. And it's because I'm like, dude, your risk to reward just not working for you, at least not for your psychology, and it's something that you got to work on, right? Like as far as I think that's another thing that like you said, it's simple math, and people don't focus on that enough, right? Like people don't. It's a business, right? We're trying to make money. Like it's a P&L. Like if you don't have all your ducks in a row, if you don't have all your numbers aligned, where you know that, okay, whatever, 50% of the time I'm winning, you know, $2,000 opposed to losing $1,000, right? Like you said, there's 22 days, or like I look at it as 20 days in the month. So let's say that you lost 50% of the time. Okay, so I lost 10 grand, but I made 20 grand. So at the end, you make 20 grand. I mean 10 grand. So that right there should pass you pretty much any challenge, right? Like as far as giving you the opportunity to make more money, as far as, you know, increasing your capital and stuff like that.
What's your strategy right now for prop firms? I know you're already funded in the prop firms, and you're working on multiple phases right now. You have like 4 other at the same time that you're working on, which is crazy. So like you're passing these things fairly easy, but like, what's your strategy for these things?
So the strategies are super simple, dude. Like it's nothing like high tech or anything. I'm taking like a higher time frame sweep, right? Like a break of the higher time frame. Sometimes if you really look at it, it might be going with the trend. It might be counter trending, but since I'm looking at a 4-hour sweep, let's say, I drop down to the 5-minute, I wait for a market structure shift, and that's it, dude. It's like
exactly what I taught you, basically.
Right. Like it's not,
you know.
That's why when somebody's like, it's just the words that you use for it. I'm like, dude, it's the same shit. And I said that on my channel. It's like, I'm not a like ICT fanatic, or I'm not anything, bro. Like it's just understanding market structure and where the price, where you think, bro, it's a guess, not a guess, but it's probabilities, right? Like I'm pretty sure that price is going to come up to here, right? Like like a retracement 50% on the fib or wherever you're going to target, right? The stuff that you've taught me. When it breaks, the pullback, and then it's all the same stuff. So that's basically what it is. What I ended up doing was using a specific time frame to look at because of work, right? So I have to work around my job, and so I'm only trading from, well, I'm pretty much looking at the setup for pretty much the whole day, but it's from after 9:30 when the market moves, right? And then waiting for my positions to show up. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then I move on to the next day.
That's crazy because it's the same strategy that, so I just had one of my other students that we did an interview for, same strategy, said the same thing. Wait for the 4-hour confirmation for you to break the 4-hour structure and then get on the 15-minute, 5-minute, and then you take the execution from there. It's like, it's that simple. It's literally that simple. Right. Like, all you have to do is wait. 4-hour, you gotta understand something. 4-hour support and resistance, it's gonna have more validation than a 15-minute, 30-minute, 1-hour support and resistance, right? The market's gonna respect 4 hours and daily and weekly and monthly way more than any lower time frame support and resistance, supply and demand, whatever you want to call it. Yep. All right. So if you go based on 4-hour or higher time frames, all you gotta wait is for the time to get there, right? It's gonna take you a little while, obviously, because you're doing 4-hour executions, but then you execute on the 15-minute once price does get there. So same strategy. You've been successful with it. Yep. Been doing good. You have your own YouTube channel. We'll make sure we'll put it here so that everybody can also follow you as well on your journey. Because like you said, you want to be transparent, and that's one thing that I do instill in all my students. Like, just be transparent with your journey. Like I said, I post a lot of my losses because I want people to know that I'm not perfect and that losses are part of the game. As long as, like you said, as long as you're making money at the end of the day, and you give yourself a good amount of time for your strategy to actually play out, then everything else is, is nothing. So, but good to have you here, Albert. So I appreciate you just giving everybody insight on everything that you've been through from start to finish. And man, I wish you good luck on all those funded accounts, man.
Thank you, brother.
That you're gonna do. That. So I know you're definitely gonna kill it, and then we'll revisit this interview once you have all of them.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Making you payouts and stuff like that. So
give me 6-7 months, and I'll be back.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, brother.